Don't forget the doc. Several network participants recently called into Dr. Rick Wright's Old School Sundays radio show. Check this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure at this time to introduce the king of all media, who needs no introduction. My cousin Tyus Few down in North Carolina, member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Hey, Tyus, here is the king of all media, George Kilpatrick. How you doing, George?
I'm doing fine, Dr. Rick, and to my frat brother, hey, Tyus, how you doing?
He's kicking, man. I'm sure he's saying hey to you. Hey, we got some sad news, man. I just got this news from Lee Kent, and then Sam Roberts called me up to give me even more verification, man. But what do you know, man, about the passing of Major Grant Williams?
Well, the same thing, Rick. I didn't know about it at all until I happened to be, in my social networking sites, and I started seeing condolences come up. And so, just like you, I have not heard as much other than the passing of Grant Williams. But what I do know and what I can say is that for many of the students who passed through Syracuse University, especially students of color, Mr. Williams, as I would call him, certainly was a towering presence for many of us. He was that comfort, that assurance. In fact, I had a chance to work closely with him when I was a student, an undergraduate student. I worked as a student security marshal, eventually becoming a supervisor. So we worked with them as an auxiliary team back in the day, patrolling the dorms and patrolling the gyms as student security marshals. But he was certainly somebody who many of the students would all have very fond memories of who he represented. Of course, the athletics and people remember him being on the sidelines, especially when Pearl hit that. One of the images that I have of the thousands of images was when Pearl hit that basket.
Half-court shot. Boston College, man, with seconds on the clock.
Pearl hit that basket of Boston College. He's jumping up and down, and you had to keep sanity on the court while trying to get Pearl to the locker room. One of many moments, but just in terms of one of the nicest men you would ever meet, just from the standpoint of manhood, just one of the nicest men. Like I said, many of the students, anybody who came into his contact, he always had a kind word, a kind assurance, and everything. If he was handling it, it was all possible. And you and I, of course, you know him, obviously, for the many years you've been in Syracuse. But whenever we would do the Martin Luther King Jr. dinner broadcast in the Dome, and he was always responsible for the many guest speakers that have been brought. So he would always be the one bringing them in, whether it's Coretta Scott King or Charles Ogletree or anybody who's been privileged to be the address there. Just a towering man, and to Grant and Steve and the rest of the family, and to his wife, and to many of us who knew him as a student and then as a professional and as a friend, we certainly do miss Major Grant Williams.
George, words just can't express, man. Ever since I've had a fantastic trip home for Thanksgiving, and maybe God was getting me ready for a piece of bad news when I got back, man. I still feel great, but really I feel so lost now. A dear friend, a towering giant, man. Syracuse University, he will be sorely missed, Major Grant Williams. Well, GK, I got Keith Sweat coming up. I got a stop set in, man. And
I know you got to pay some bills,
Got to pay some bills, but I'll see you, Fred. I'll see you very shortly, man, and tell you about the great trip I just had down to North Carolina.
Well, listen, bless you, Rick, and you just keep doing the work, man. You are our legacy, and you keep the dream alive for many of us. So thank you for what you do, Rick.
Oh, same to you, George. You're the real deal. Like I said again, I've given you the nickname. You're the king of all media. God bless you, George. God bless you and your family, man, and your children, man. And let's keep hope alive on this Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Amen.
George Kilpatrick here at Power 106.9.
All right, so get to all the Syracuse University alums throughout the world. Checking out Dr. Rick Wright, Power 106.9, Old School Sunday. On a big bad Sunday afternoon, Dr. Rick Wright live and well in Syracuse here at Power 106.9 Radio. Do it.
The network reminds you that you too may call in to Dr. Rick Wright on Sundays between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check in with the doc at area code 315-428-1069. Don't forget the doc.